Have you ever wondered why an author writes what they write? Because I was thinking about it today. So I am working on writing a dark romance where the girl's, my main character's husband, is abusive sexually and physically and mentally, and she doesn't really realize that that's what's going on until first chapter, she catches him with another woman. She doesn't say anything to him about it though, because she's too afraid. And then, well, without giving spoilers, she meets another man who ends up treating her so much better and bringing her into her darkness, and things evolve from there. But I was thinking about it today while I was writing a story where he starts to catch on to what's going on, and like the tension starts to build between her and her husband, and bad things are gonna happen. And I was like, why? So I am not a survivor of domestic abuse. I have had narcissistic, manipulative boyfriends, but they've never hit me. The only person, but there's an addendum to that, the only person who has ever laid hands on me was my stepdad. I was 16, and I was one of the only people who have ever stood up to this man, and I think that frightened him. Didn't stop him from doing anything, but it challenged him, I guess. And for me, I guess that's why I'm writing this story, is to show women, I don't want them to challenge their abuser, because that typically ends up not too good for them. But I want to be able to give them the strength to do something about it, to be able to find a way to leave and not take the abuse anymore. Or even for younger women who might be in situations where they're starting to see the red flags to where this could turn violent, and I want them to get out before it does get violent. I want to give them that strength, because it's not going to tear up, but it's something that nobody should ever have to deal with. And it breaks my heart that it exists, and that women have to prove that this is happening, and not just it's happening. Or if you want to flip the tables, and men have to prove domestic violence even more than women do. And like, it breaks my heart that people have to prove abuse, because society just doesn't believe them, especially when there are narcissistic people who are doing the abuse, who are able to charm the public into believing that they are the good guys. That is my stepdad. He was a good church member. He was a deacon of the church, and blah, 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 blah. And like, everybody loved him. He was such a good man. He's still alive, but that was the story I always heard whenever I was a teenager. And I'm like, but he's not. And it took me showing bruises and me writing a bit of poetry about my fear level for anybody to actually believe me, that he isn't as good of a man as people think he is. Behind closed doors, he's a different man. And I want to be able to help encourage women who are in similar situations. So that's why I'm writing this book.